Hello. Chick. Hello. Hello. Chick. Chick. Hello. Chick.
Test. Hello. Mic test. Test. Hello. Test. Huh. Test. Hello. Mic test. Test. Hello. Test. Test. Hello. 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 Mic test. Test. Hello.
Hello. Test. Hello. Hello. Test. Hello. Test. Chick. Hello. Hello.
ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ. 9ನೇ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರು ಅಂತಾರಾಷ್ಟ್ರೀಯ ಸಿನಿಮೋತ್ಸವಕ್ಕೆ ತಮಗೆಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಆತ್ಮೀಯವಾದ ಸ್ವಾಗತ. ಹಾಗೆಯೇ ಈ ದಿನದ ಪುಸ್ತಕ ಬಿಡುಗಡೆ ಸಮಾರಂಭಕ್ಕೂ ಕೂಡ ಆತ್ಮೀಯವಾದ ಸ್ವಾಗತ. A very good morning. I welcome you all to 9th Bengaluru International Film Festival. I also cordially invite you to the book release function on Mr. Gurudutt. I take this opportunity to welcome our guest for today, Mr. Arun Khopkar. I welcome you, sir. Kindly occupy the seat in the front. A very well-known author, Mr. Girish Kasravalli. I welcome you, sir. Renowned director, Kannada film director. I welcome you, sir. I also welcome Mr. Rafiq Baghdadi, President of FIPRESCI India. I welcome you, sir. Mr. Madhu, I cordially invite you, sir. I also welcome Mr. Virupaksha Kulkarni, very well-known translator. And I also welcome Mrs. Uma Kulkarni. I would also take this opportunity to welcome the chairman of Karnataka Chanachitra Academy, Mr. Rajendra Singh Babu. Mr. Vishu Kumar, Director of Information Department and Public Relations. Mr. Narahari Rao, I welcome you, sir. Former Artistic Director and also a film critic. Now I would request our Registrar, H.P. Dinesh, sir, to felicitate our guest for today. It's a pleasure having you, sir. Having you here, sir. To Mr. Girish Kasravalli, it's a delight having you here, sir. Mr. Virupaksha Kulkarni and Mrs. Uma Kulkarni, thanks a lot for coming here. To Mr. Madhu Aravankar, Secretary FIPRESCI India, we welcome you, sir. To Narahari Rao, sir, former Artistic Director and a very well-known film critic. And to Mr. Rajendra Singh Babu, Chairman of Karnataka Chanachitra Academy, we welcome you too, sir. And to Mr. Vishu Kumar, Director of Department of Information and Public Relations, I welcome all. Thank you so much.
Good morning. Today is the 4th day of this festival, and this is the actually the 5th session of academic activities we are having in this festival. Bangalore Festival believes that it's not just showing the films because we get to see films, but at the same time there's a forum where people meet and interact and exchange views. It has been a very successful festival so far. We had very good interactions with Chairman Prasar Bharati, director of Film and Television Institute. We have had discussions on marketing of regional cinema, global platforms. We have master classes from directors from India and abroad. And it has been a very, enlightening experience for most of our delegates who participated in these events. And we take it forward today with a book release. This also has been an annual feature of our festival for the last few years, wherein we, one of the objectives of the Karnataka Chalachitra Academy is to create a body of work in words to complement the films we see. And in fact, Gurudutt has been one of our, Gurudutt and VK Murthy has been part of this festival from the beginning. The very first year we had a retrospective of Gurudutt's films in 2006. And Mr. VK Murthy was with us in that festival, and he inaugurated that festival. And we have had this continuous interaction with Mr. VK Murthy also. We have an annual VK Murthy lecture on cinematography in the last 3 years, addressed by people like Mr. Govind Nihlani and Mr. Anil Mehta. And this year we had Mahesh Ane here, yesterday here. Therefore, we have been, like last year, we also had sessions on the sound design by Rasul Pukutti and script to cinema discourses with Mr. Mani Ratnam. And there we have been having in fact, Mr. Arun Khopkar was with us in 2008, I remember, for a master class here. Therefore, it has been a pleasure, sir, having you again in this event. And I would like to, I don't need to, for this audience, I don't need to actually introduce him, but formally I would introduce him to you and welcome him on behalf of the Bengaluru Film Festival. Arun Khopkar was my teacher in Pune Film Institute for Film Appreciation. He's very meticulous, he's very sharp to the point. Therefore, he wanted me to read his biodata and not impromptu speak about it. Therefore, I'm going to read this. Mr. Arun Khopkar started his film career with playing the main role in Ashad Ka Ek Din by Mr. Mani Kaul. We all know Mani Kaul. Arun got his diploma in film direction from the FTII Pune with a gold medal for his thesis. His feature film Katha Don Ganapatronchi was shown in Moscow, Cairo, Sarajevo and Beppu International Film Festivals. His non-feature films on various art forms have won many national and international awards, including the Golden Lotus, the highest national award in India. He received the Satyajit Ray Lifetime Achievement Award for his contributions to the art of the cinema. He is a former Homi Bhabha Fellow and is internationally acknowledged authority on Sergei Eisenstein. His book on Gurudutt got the National Award for the Best Book on Cinema. He has lectured in FTII, NFAI, National School of Drama and Jawaharlal Nehru University and Institute for Advanced Studies in Cinematography and Institute for Advanced Studies in Cinematography in Moscow on film theory and practice. He has contributed papers at various international seminars. He has published Chitra View and Chalat Chitra View, 2 collections of essays on various art forms in Marathi in 2012. They received the prestigious Maharashtra Foundation Award for the most original books in Marathi. Chalat Chitra View won him the Sahitya Academy for the best book in Marathi. In fact, today he is our important guest for 2 reasons. One, his book in Marathi on Gurudutt has been translated into Kannada. We always take pride, with Gurudutt as our own always. And therefore and thanks to Mr. Girish Kasravalli mainly that, and Mr. Gopal Krishna Pai, and of course translators Uma and Virupakshi Kulkarni, we have this book. This book has been translated into Kannada, and today the event is that the book. Therefore, we have Mr. Arun Khopkar as the original author of this book, and also we are going to have an interactive session with him on Gurudutt, his life and works after this, as a part of the Critics Forum, because this program is, organized mainly by FIPRESCI India. Mr. Madhu Eravankara is here on behalf of FIPRESCI India, and of course Mr. Narahar Rao is going to release the book. Mr. Rajendra Singh Babu is our chairman, and within a week he has got this book, got published, and that is remarkable. Actually, just about 10 days back, I think, when I spoke to Mr. Gopal Krishna Pai, he said he's ready, and Babu said we will do it immediately and release the book in this event, and thanks to him, this book is here today. I thank Mr. Vishwakumar, who is the executive director of this film, to come over here and participate in this event. Therefore, I welcome all of you to this evening, to this morning's discussion and release of the book. Thank you very much, sir. Now we will start the event with the release function. I request all the dignitaries on the stage to participate in this event. Mr. Narahari Rao, please take the lead in releasing the book.
The book is not as difficult as the packing is.
Some more books. Kodi, I'll kodi. I request Mr. Gopal Krishna Pai also to come over here. Pai, please come, please come.
We want Mr. Pai.
Vani, please. Sorry.
Mr. Kasarwalli is so eager to read the book.
Thank you, sir. Now with this event, we'll structure it with a opening remarks, keynote remarks by Mr. Arun Khopkar on the life and works of Gurudutt and his book. And then we'll have a response to it or extension of it. No, once he completes this one, then you can respond to it through you. Okay, okay. Please go ahead. Please go ahead.
Because the responsibility of releasing the book was handed over to me. So I must make some remarks at least. So I thought that I requested very frantically Mr. Girish Kasarwalli to speak on the book because ಅವರು ತುಂಬ ಪರಿಷ್ಕರಣೆ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ bookನ. He has gone through the book. And why I am telling you is this. He asked me to go through the book and give my opinion at this function. The problem was I got the copies about 2 days back and it is 300 pages. And when I went through it to make it, because so many works have been given by me by Mr. Vidyashankar, so he has to take the responsibility. So I didn't find time to go through that, and I discussed it with Girish. I find it very difficult to talk on this book because he has quoted so many things. So many items are there, so many artists are there. He has referred so many, ಬೇಕಾದಷ್ಟು ಗ್ರಂಥಗಳನ್ನ he has referred it. So I thought it is very difficult. One thing about academy I want to tell. The academy, I don't know how it has occurred to them. The 2 books they have published, very important books. One was Puttana Kanagal, and the next was this one. Because in Puttana Kanagal film, book, myself and Raghavendra have quoted so many things about Gurudutt. So there is a resemblance because, and this books particularly has, he has the same theme of filmmaking, both of them adopted in the sense, how to make melodrama artistic. So that's what the book also wants to suggest, that the melodrama is made very artistic by Gurudutt. And he takes mainly three films as example. That is, he starts with Paisa, Kagas Ke Phool and Sai Bibi or Gulam. And when we were writing the book, we particularly referred the works of Gurudutt and Puttana Kanagal when we wrote that book. And what is the difference is, you see, if you go through so many of the thousands of beautiful songs in Hindi cinema, the picturization of songs that has taken place through Gurudutt ranks very high. Picturization of songs, particularly theme, particularly, for example, ye takato, ye mehlo, ye tajo ki duniya, ye duniya agar mil bhi jaye to kya hai, and ye jaane kya tune kahe. All these picturization of the songs particularly go through, matches very well with the film. Whether you call it drama, melodrama or whatever it is very artistic in the portrayal of the film. And particularly when that climax sequence comes, and Dunya agar mil bhi jaye to kya hai, this becomes a thematic thing in the book, if you see that. In the end, there is an article by Wahida Rahman who says that death was very favorite theme for, it was a part of his life. He liked death very much. And that goes through the film in the book also, because the scenes that are quoted there also gives. And another thing that he ಬಹಳ ಅದ್ಭುತವಾಗಿ ಏನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಅವನು ಅಂದರೆ ಬೆಳಕಿನ ಮತ್ತು ಕತ್ತಲಿನ ಸಂಯೋಜನೆ ವಿ ಕೆ ಮೂರ್ತಿಯವ್ರ ಜೊತೆಲಿ ಹೇಗೆ how he was able to combine with V.K. Murthy and present certain things in a definite way. So these are the things which he says in the book. But I think I don't do any justification if I talk on the details of the book, because I have to go through minimum 2 to 3 times to correctly speak on the book, because he has touched so many points. Many points he has touched, and he has referred many things, many of the other artists and other things. One more thing that while writing Puttana book we thought was his personal life and how it affected the cinema. Whereas in the case of Puttana, we have clearly written in the book that after a certain stage of filmmaking, in the end stages, he changed his style of filmmaking to match the personal life, his personal life. But we have not found this in the case of Gurudutt. Also in Zangimau. So there was so much of resemblance, so much of intimacy between Zangimau and Gangli. It did not appear in the films. And the same thing with many other filmmakers which we have quoted. So these are the things, resemblance which we found when writing Puttana Kanagal, and I am very happy Academy has taken these two important directors, and this will become an important document for the Academy to preserve it for the posterity. Thank you very much. Thank you, sir. I request Academy to continue to publish such books and help the film fraternity to study the art of cinema. Thank you.
Sir, please.
I hope you wouldn't mind if I sit and talk. It's much more comfortable for me. I'm going to thank so many people because it's a very special occasion for me. First of all, let me thank the Chalachitra Academy for publishing it and for bringing out such beautiful edition. But I think the stimulus to publish this book came from Girish Kasarwali, my colleague from the Film Institute, my hostel mate, and I think probably the best friend I have in the film fraternity. And then Gopal Krishna Pai, who also has treated this book like his own baby. And he has given so much attention both to the words and to the entire design and execution of it. I'm really, when I saw the book, I was so deeply touched because even the blue color, which is very difficult to match, which is on the Marathi original, has been matched so perfectly. And so he has given attention both to the text as well as to the rupa of the book, which is something quite rare because people who are careful with the words sometimes pay no attention to the design of the book. And then Uma and Virupaksha for translating this. It's not something which is up their street. I mean, they have translated many books, but it has been mostly literature and other kinds of. But cinema requires a certain terminology of its own and a certain style of writing which I had maintained in the original book. And though I don't understand Kannada, I hear from my friends like Gopal and Girish that the book reads extremely well in Kannada. And I'm also equally happy to have Mr. Sudhir Nangaonkar here today because many years ago, in 1986, the first Marathi edition was released in Bombay. He had organized the release and he had even got Gurudutt's mother, Vasanti Padukone, to come and release the book in Bombay. The fact that he is here after so many years, and the book has also journeyed from, that was my first book, and it has journeyed from being a small book on a great filmmaker. Now it is a large book. I'm not saying it's a great book. It's a large book on a great filmmaker. And it has been translated into many languages or so. So after this preliminary, I think I would like to speak a little about my specific approach as envisaged in the book and something that is not so very clear in the book, but I think those are the thoughts that have gone into the making of the book. One is a way of looking at a book from the point of view of a filmmaker, as a fellow filmmaker. So you begin by concentrating on the very text of the films. By text, I mean the visuals, the lighting, the gesture, the cutting, mixing, everything. But if you do that and just that, you may achieve a level of analysis which is extremely interesting, but what does it signify? And to relate it to the personality of the director and then to relate it to certain traditions in cinema. Because every artist works in a certain tradition. He either continues the tradition or he rebels against it. So both these aspects have to be studied carefully, like what is it that he's continuing and what is it that he's denying. And in Gurudutt's case, I feel that the new edition, which differs in many ways from the very first edition, is because the first edition was confining itself to 3 films, Pyasa, Kagas Ke Phool, and Sahib Bibi Aur Gulam. Now, I had called it Gurudutt a tragedy in 3 acts. Now, if you think of these 3 films, in the traditional way of thinking about a trilogy, they're not a trilogy because the characters are different, the plots are different, etc. But that is at the level of plot, that is at the level of characters. But if you take what do the characters signify in the film? What kind of tendencies do they express? How are they expressed? What is the language of cinema? So you'll find that there is a tremendous consistency in these 3 films in which a certain romantic pessimism or a tragedy is spelled out. In the case of Pyasa, it's a writer. In the case of Kagas Ke Phool, it's a film director. And in the case of Sahib Bibi aur Gulam, it is a woman brought up in a zamindar family. And all three of them are rebelling in their own way, in their own field, against the conventions which oppress them and which do not allow them to fulfill their own destiny. In the case of the two artists, it is the market forces, it is the lack of comprehension of the audience. And in the case of Sahib Bibi or Gulam, it is a complete misunderstanding. Like, first of all, a woman becomes alcoholic, coming from that kind of a family. That itself, which I think in the West will not be understood so easily as an act of rebellion, because it was against, she says that I got trapped now. I started it to keep my husband at home, but now I have become an addict to that habit of alcohol. So alcohol is also another common theme that runs through these three films. Now, these three films, definitely there is one kind of Gurudutt, and that is the Gurudutt that is brought up, who had gone to Almora to study under Uday Shankar. And Uday Shankar's film Kalpana is also about an artist who's misunderstood and who rebels against his own, who sees the society and economic forces as forcing him to compromise, to express something which will be popular rather than express something which is truthful. And in Almora, I think one more thing that happened was, like, Uday Shankar was actually a trained painter. Then music was running in the family because he is Ravi Shankar's elder brother. So music, and then he turned to dance, and he danced with Anna Pavlova, one of world's greatest dancers. So painting, music and dance, which were in Almora. Almora was seen, where ballet was seen as a kind of integration of all art forms. And it is not that it is a form which is restricted only to dance. I mean, the decor, the music, the tempo, the laya, that is all extremely important. And I think what Gurudutt learned from Uday Shankar is, one is the artistic language, and also how in Kalpana the dances were picturized, in which the lighting and the sets were sometimes abstract. They contributed to a certain mood. So the songs in Gurudutt film were not something that were thrust into the film. Although Gurudutt, there is an interview by Wahida Rahman that he hated songs, and when Kanun was released without songs, he prayed for the success. He asked her to pray for the success of Kanun. So he had a certain idea of realistic film, but it is very fortunate that he trusted his intuitive artistic impulse and brought the much abused form of melodrama into his films. Now, in melodrama, I don't mean something where the emotions are exaggerated. It is where the melody and drama, they actually merge into each other and have a continuous flow. So you'll see that in these three films, the picturization of the song, sometimes from a dialogue, he goes into a song, sometimes a song which is extremely powerful, just like Jala do ise foonk dalo ye duniya. The song is cut very abruptly, or even Bhavra Bada Nadan. And these three films are also part of the general background of the Bengali culture, which in which Tagore's role is really great, because his Ravindra Sangeet was the first annotated kind of music in Western notation, which was orchestrated, and it had to be sung like a Western composition every time in the same way. very different from the Indian music in which there is constant improvisation. So an understanding of orchestration, of melody, of the structure of symphony, the role of chorus. I think chorus was again something which was extremely important in the films, in the ballets of Uday Shankar, because chorus represented the voice of the people. Even in the great tragedy, the chorus is something that is not composed from the main characters in the film, but it is the people who are suffering, who are being affected by what is happening. So this is a very classical tradition of Bengal in which you are actually going back to the roots of theatre, right up to the Greek theatre, right up to you're starting with the form of melodrama which was popular in Europe. It's very different from the Sangeet Natak of India. Very different. Because in Sangeet Natak, sometimes it was a musical and people went to see, there were encores sometimes. You would have Bal Gandharva singing the same song 21 times and your popularity was judged by encores. Here it was not like that. Song played a strong role in narrative, and then it was just once that role was played, the song was not to be heard, even if it had to be cut very brutally. So this is the classical side of Gurudutt. But when I started, after I wrote the book on the three films, I started looking at other films that of Gurudutt, like Mr. and Mrs. 55, then Baz and Bazi and CID, and then I began to feel that yes, here is another Gurudutt, a young man with great ambitions in film industry who has come to Bombay and then who is working as a dance director in Prabhat, and he has it's a very different world from the classical world that he has depicted. So it is the world of a taxi driver, it is the world of a champiwala, it's the world of a common man, and these are the films in which you see the what I'll call as the brighter side of the moon. The darker side of the moon was depicted in the three films, and here you have this a brighter side of Gurudutt. And actually the ingenuity of some of his song picturizations, like in Taxi Driver, there is a song which is picturized in a garage. And generally today when you take a song picturization, you need an exotic location, you need the background chorus and so many things. But Gurudutt's song picturization in Taxi Driver, using this simple set and then shows you that once there is a great director, even the most trivial looking places become significant. So I think it is what Gurudutt did was he expressed almost it was like a split personality. He expressed one kind of a persona and the other persona which was light-hearted, which was full of joy and singing and dancing, and all that came through his lighter films. And so much so that even the kind of humor that Gurudutt has, and I don't think in Hindi cinema humor has been used so effectively and so crisply. Like when Lalita Pawar in Mr. and Mrs. 55 asks him, "Are you a communist?" He says, "No, I'm a cartoonist." It is that kind of very refined wit and ready wit. Like in Pyasa, there is a dialogue when Gurudutt's friend comes and somebody asks him, "Aur aapki taarif?" So he said, "Jitni bhi karo, kam hi hai." But it is not something where some stupid handicap of a person is like stammer or limping, or he doesn't joke about fatness. And Tuntun is there, but Tuntun it's one kind of persona. He uses that persona extremely well. And I think why we are here today is, in a sense, that this man who died in 1964, there is something of his cinema which is still living today. And there is that significance. It's part, not only part of our history, but it is also a part of the tragedy of Indian society itself. Because from protest against commercialism, now we have completely given up ourselves up to consumerism. So many times the past is a reminder of what you were and what you could have been, had you taken the right path. So I think the significance of Gurudutt is like it's a kind of beacon, that it beckons us to see what the path that we have traversed and the kind of significant cinema that could be. Now technology has brought so much of new to cinema, but has it brought a different kind of cinema? Has it brought a cinema which searches deeper? Now just one example I want to give you about how an innovative director uses some technological innovation. Kagaz Ke Phool was the first, 1959 was the first CinemaScope film in India. Now the history of CinemaScope is such that CinemaScope was used by cinema to compete with television. Because what you could not see on the small screen, these huge spectacles like Ben-Hur, etc., many of them were presented on the large screen. But Gurudutt, when he used the large screen, the stretched screen and the proportions of CinemaScope, he used them to enhance the loneliness of man. I mean, in my book I've written somewhere that how can you make a line shorter without touching it? It's by drawing a line which is larger than that. So Gurudutt takes the conventional screen and he stretches the space around him, the empty space around him, so that the person becomes even more lonely. So it is this use which is 2 years before a similar use by Antonioni in La Ventura. And in this you see what a great visionary filmmaker Gurudutt was, that here is a device where everyone is using it to fill up the screen, to have what they call a clothes line composition. It's like clothes hanging in a line, in widescreen cinema. People used to use that format in CinemaScope. But Gurudutt did something, he stressed the loneliness of the man. So I think his work is still relevant in so many ways, and the more points of view one finds of looking at his work actually enriches the viewer, because the work is never, you can't step into the same river twice, because the river has flown, gone ahead, it had changed. So today, are we seeing the same Gurudutt films? No. We are seeing something, we are making something that we bring to them. So in that sense, a film is a classic where generation after generation views it and interprets it differently. So that's why classics never die. So that's how, we are celebrating Gurudutt's second or third generation life. We are celebrating life, and we are not mourning his death, though tragic was his vision. Thank you.
To continue this dialogue, I would request Mr. Virupaksha Kulkarni to respond to, the way he looked at this book when translating it, and then.
Good afternoon. It's really, I don't know how to express. Professor has already dealt with the subject in detail. I will not go into the text matter of the book. It so happened in 2015, the fresh edition of this same book, Marathi book, was published at Pune Film Archives. So we happened to meet the professor then. We came across him while discussion, the subject of translating the same book into Kannada came forward. So we kept meeting and we decided to go ahead with the translation. As it is already expressed, myself and my wife Uma, we are mostly in the literary field where we come across very less in contact with the terminology, technical terminology and terminology pertaining to the particular field. But somehow we have been meeting challenges of different types of translations also. So we went ahead, we took the challenge, and we knew there are people, a professor himself is a capable man, and he has association contacts with all the great people in Karnataka also. So the first draft, I felt, we will be giving it to them, and they will go through by the experts, and they will scrutinize, they will refine it, they will improve the quality of it. To my surprise, to our surprise, this book today has come with the same quality of production as it is in Marathi. And it's really a graceful book. I'm really happy to see it because we are just seeing it today only before, witnessing before all of you. I take this opportunity to thank all of these people. First of all, Mr. Arun Khopkar for giving us the opportunity to translate it into Kannada. Secondly, Mr. Girish Kasarvaldi, who took initiative to bring it into Karnataka and approach proper people. Mr. Gopal Krishna Pai, we had earlier discussion with him, we had talked to him in different contexts. He is a great novelist, he is a great writer in Kannada. So I really thank him for taking a sort of cleaning job. I really thank him. And we are grateful to be here on the invitation of the organizers. Last but not least, the Karnataka Academy has taken all the initiative to publish it in such a short time with such a good quality. And finally, I appeal to all my Kannada readers and the experts connected in this field to go through the book. It is useful to all the technically expert people as well as the common people. It makes a very good, interesting reading. And we both enjoyed translating the same. It is really interesting. It is really enlightening. So please do. Thank you. Thank you, all of you.
Would you like to speak? ಗಿರೀಶ್, ನೀವು ಕನ್ನಡಕ್ಕೆ ತರೋದಕ್ಕೆ ನೀವು ಮುಖ್ಯ ಕಾರಣರು. ನೀವು ಕೆಲವು ಮಾತುಗಳನ್ನ.
Thank you, Vidyashankar. Well, I didn't come prepared for a lecture or anything, but it's a casual remarks about the book and my friendship with Arun Khopkar. We were actually batchmates, not exactly batchmates, we were together at FTI. He was 1 year senior to me. In Film Institute, there are very few lectures about whom we looked up to. There were Professor Bahadur, Professor Bhaskar Chandarkar, Professor Thakkar, and rest of the staff, we didn't care much. But we learned a lot from our contemporaries and our seniors. I would like to, at this juncture, I would like to mention two of my seniors who helped me shape my approach to cinema. One is, of course, Nirad Mahapatra, the other is Arun Khopkar. Whenever we had any doubt about cinema, we would go to them and then they would explain the films to us, they would explain the technique, they would explain the concepts. And that's how my taste, my approach to cinema chiseled out. And Arun Khopkar is such a perceptive viewer, perceptive filmmaker, very sensitive filmmaker. His knowledge of cinema is outstanding. His knowledge of history of cinema is very good. The added advantage here is, if you read the book, you would know that there are a lot of quotations from literature, from Western film theories, Western cultural theories. He's also very good in, his knowledge of music is excellent. His understanding of painting is excellent. His knowledge of, he is good at many languages. He can, he speaks, his mother tongue is Marathi, but he speaks fantastic English. His Hindi is good. He speaks very good Russian because he wanted to study Eisenstein in his original, so he studied Russian and then studied Eisenstein. He understands, he reads, he speaks French. Now he is reading Spanish. He is studying Spanish. So that way his understanding of language is very good. His understanding of all the forms of art, be it painting, be it cinema, literature, theater, so good, so perceptive, so, this one, that you can make out from while reading this book. In fact, I'm not a great, I wasn't a great admirer of Gurudutt at all. I dismissed him, saying that he's a very sentimental filmmaker, very melodramatic, and I never took him very seriously. The one good thing happened to me is after reading the book was I started reconsidering Gurudutt. I understood so there are certain aspects of this one which he discusses in great detail, which I had actually earlier dismissed, like the very concept of melodrama. And if there is a chapter on melodrama, you would suddenly understand how melodrama can be effectively used. He discusses the films of Ritwik Ghatak and the films of Gurudutt. And he explains how melodrama can be used very creatively. And also he doesn't say, Gurudutt is greatest around any such, thing. He also compares it with the films of Ghatak and says why he doesn't rise up to the level of Ghatak. He says Ghatak can rise melodrama to epic, whereas Gurudutt hasn't been able to rise the melodrama to epic. So that's the difference here. And there are very many concepts which he brings in. Say, for example, the very notion of melodrama. What is its origin? Why was it coined? How did it affect our perception? It goes deep into such details. The romanticism. We use these concepts, these terms very casually without really understanding them. We use melodrama. We use, say, for example, we say it's very romantic. What is this romantic? How in the history of art romanticism play? What kind of role it played? Why is it essential? Why did it come up during, the last century, not last century, 19th century? And how did cinema adopted that? These kind of thing, one could get a fantastic in-depth understanding of not just Gurudutt's film, the cinema as such. That's why I actually suggested Vidyashankar, but somehow it wasn't implemented. I wanted a series of lecture wherein he explains the melodrama as a form of art, wherein he compares Ghatak with Gurudutt and Gurudutt with Balchandar with, say for example, Puttanna. Why some people fail to make it, while some people fail to make a film which transcends all these limits. The limits boundaries which Gurudutt could transcend, boundaries which Ghatak can transcend. Why these people, the other filmmakers, are not able to do it? So such kind of discourse or discussion would have definitely benefited us. And I must really thank Mr. Gopal Krishna Pai. He took a lot of time, it's almost, I mean, I got this, Arun sent me the English translation of this book sometime in last October or somewhere, and he wanted me to see if not English version, the Kannada translations. He wanted me to, on his behalf, approach some publisher. Then I said, why not we approach the academy itself? Because they can bring out a very the book in a very this one way, it's cost effective. It's not very expensive also. I just looked at the price. It's just 200 rupees. It's such a wonderful book. And I must really thank Mr. Dinesh for this, because he was the one who took a lot of interest in bringing out this book. Without him, probably the book wouldn't have come at all. There are many interesting things, especially when I was in the FTI, I used to read books like Carl Ray's book on film editing, wherein he would pick up a scene and analyze the scene shot by shot. Not analyze the scene, not analyze the plot, analyze the construction, analyze the scene shot by shot. And there are many such analysis here. And he also talks in great depth about the use of songs in Gurudutt's film, which I thought is very fascinating. The songs are inserted, not inserted into the film. It's built into the film. You see, there's a difference between these two. In most of our films, songs are inserted. Whereas in Gurudutt's films, they are built into that because he prepares a ground to lift the realistic framework to a higher grade, which is called as supra-realism. And there are so many, like the very term realism, we use it in a very casual way. But on the documentary on me, he talks about the notion of realism. He says realistic and realism are two different terms. Realism is a philosophy. Realistic is an idiom. Being realistic is an idiom, whereas realism is a philosophy. Such kind of in-depth understanding of arts, culture, politics, one understands if one goes through this book. So I think it's a great addition to Kannada film literature. I was very happy that academic could bring it out during this session, because I'm certain people who wants to write on cinema now, let's say, what is it, model on which one can really develop film sensibilities and film literature. Thank you very much, Arun. I'm really grateful to you.
Thank you, Girish. It reminded me of the, when we all film society activists went to Pune in early 80s, we had only, melodrama, sentiment, everything was considered. When Satish Bahadur was teaching only Satyajit Ray, when people like Arun Khopkar and others, we started, they gave us some insights into Ritvik Ghatak and Gurudutt. And then, of course, American cinema was also brought into by Suresh Chabria. And that's how we got the full panorama of filmmaking of the world. This program I coordinated with FIPRESCI India, and FIPRESCI India essentially to extend this book release event into a sort of a critical forum. We want to develop in film festivals a critics forum as well. We have actually FIPRESCI award-winning section in my film festival the last 5 years. We also have like NetPack Award. Therefore, we wanted to create the kind of critics forum in the film festival on a long-term basis. Therefore, I involved this time as well. I'd like Mr. Madhu to respond to the critical position you can take in these film festivals about the books, about the films, and other things.
Thank you, Ms. Vidyashankar, for giving me this opportunity to respond. In fact, FIPRESCI India, as we all say it, we are so thankful that we have been to this function and we have been associated to this function, and it's a great thing because the film criticism, it should go up. the film criticism should, take its wings out. And this is the best opportunity. And I take this opportunity to thank Kannada Charchitra Academy to bring out this type of book. And apart from that, I should add something. That is, I see the presence of Mr. Arun Khopkar. I was in the FA course in 79. So, yeah, it was Arun Khopkar who introduced us about the theory of films. And since then, so I plunged into especially the topic of film theory because of him. So I'm thankful to him after, even though I'm seeing him after so many years. And another thing is also there. I had a book in 2013, Indian Cinema 100 Years and 100 Cinema. In fact, earlier I have seen Gurudutt films, some of the films, not all. But I wanted to include one film of Gurudutt in my book. And of course, I have put Kagas Ke Phool. And the thing is, I had no idea about, I had not seen any writings. And I searched, when I was in Bombay, when I was in Pune Film Institute, and in archive, I searched for some material. And luckily, I got your book, Gurudutt's A Tragedy in 3 Acts. So, yeah, Penguin edition. So, it was that book which helped me to rediscover Gurudutt. So there are two coincidences with Arun Khopkar. Now he is here. And I'm so happy that this book in Kannada will help the Kannada readers as well as the readers of Gurudutt to rediscover Gurudutt in a new way and in new form. Of course, my rediscovery was great. As far as Gurudutt was concerned, as Mr. Girish Kasarivali was mentioning, because he also didn't consider Gurudutt earlier, just like me. But later, when I started watching his films in the CDs, then I rediscovered Gurudutt, and I discovered that he is one of the most important filmmaker of our era. Especially in the history of Indian cinema, he had got a special mark and he has got a special position. So that is why I'm so happy. So many coincidences, and thank you, Vidya Shankar, for giving me this opportunity to express myself and express my happiness. And thank you, Mr. Arun Khopkar. Thank you.
Thank you, Madhu. Shall we throw open for some few questions? Or, somebody would like to respond?
The lights are on in my eyes. I don't even know if there is anybody there.
Brunda, you want to?
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen on the dais. It's a great opportunity for me to learn about Gurudutt because like Mr. Kasarvalli and Seb mentioned, the sentimental films were not something that we cherished growing up in 70s and 80s. My question to you now is, sir, if Gurudutt made films today, knowing him the way you do now after studying him, would you think he would change the style he would use to tell his stories? Would he adapt himself to tell the stories less sentimentally, the same subjects?
It's a difficult question because it is so iffy. There are so many ifs and buts. But I have a feeling that if he had lived longer, I don't think, there is the lighter side of him. I think what would have come out perhaps would have been films of very bitter irony. Because I think that is one aspect of Gurudutt. And considering the times that we are living in, and considering what is happening in the States and at the center, I think that sharp sense of irony that you see in some of his films, I think there are enough hypocrites today, definitely more than those who were active around Gurudutt's times, which would have been very, very suitable targets for any person with that kind of sense of humor and that kind of compassion and humanism. I think that would have definitely, but it also, one also feels that there was something beyond. There was definitely a death wish in Gurudutt. So in that sense, I think it's a bit pointless to speak of life beyond that, because it was not a death that was imposed on him. It was a death that was chosen. So I think in that sense, it's best not to speculate. Thank you.
Sir, do you consider the Gurudutt as a pioneer in hijacking the melodrama to get his film success? I feel that it is hijacking a melodrama. I feel.
I don't know whether whether to use the term hijacking, but yes, in a sense, using it to do something other than what it has been used to. But one example that comes to my mind where it has been done absolutely brilliantly is the work of Douglas Sirk. Great filmmaker, German filmmaker, and he worked in America, in Hollywood, and he used every element from the cinematic language, from the lush colors of Technicolor, but I think they are the most anti-American society films that were ever made, including the film that he made about how the color of the skin is so important. And he used the Technicolor. I'll just mention one technical detail to you. See, the reproduction of a color, of any color, depends upon the kind of chemical composition of how that color is reproduced. So when Eastman Kodak used the tri-pack for the first time, what they did was that different combinations of, different percentage combinations of various primary colors were used, and those were printed and shown to, it was a white, blue-eyed, blonde lady. And her representation was shown to some 560 white American males. And image which was sexually the most attractive to them, that was frozen as the tri-pack emulsion. So you see, racism starts even at the level of technology. So Douglas Kirk used the same Technicolor to bring out the problem of dark tones in the skin. And just as an aside, Indian cinema has, even when there have been beautiful dark heroines like Nutan, has always given them that kind of pastry-colored white face in the films. And when I saw Nutan in real life, I was stunned by the kind of beautiful complexion she had. In that sense, that kind of realism came to Indian cinema for the first time with Ilford emulsion used by Subhrata Mitra in Satyajit Ray's Pathir Panchali. I mean, the skin tones of Durga, the way that skin tone has been reproduced. So when you want to invert a technology, it is not just, when you want to invert or subvert a form, then you have to be a master to be able to control each of the elements. Otherwise, you can't subvert it. By making in order to, like a clown, has to be able to do all these various elements extremely well, so he can do them wrong. You know, you have to know exactly how to fall badly, and you have to know when to fall. and how not to hurt yourself. So similarly, unless you have complete control, another example is the music of Ghashiram Kotwal, Bhaskar Chandavarkar, who gave the music. He used every element, whether it was a lavani or it was a thumri or it was a chorus, in its pristine purity. But by juxtaposing it with something which was very incongruous, he produced that sense of sharp irony. So irony is not just ridiculing or condemning. It is an understanding and then using it as a very sharp instrument to cut through something that has been hidden. Thank you.
We'll take one question last. Sir, I think I'll close it with my question, last question myself. Yes. Okay. The problem with we had, of course, maybe that's a common thing, is that looking at cinema as a cultural phenomena is one aspect. Using cinema for intellectual discourse is another aspect. We are more taken in in the 70s as cinema to be used as an intellectual discourse, like Mr. Kasarvalli or yourself or Mani Kaul, Mr. Kumar Shani. All of you were using it as an intellectual discourse, whereas people like Gurudutt and Ritvik Ghatak were using cinema as a cultural phenomena. Not that there's no intellectual discourse within that cinema. Now, is this the distinction that we could make when we see cinemas of this kind, where you say melodrama is, which is the dominant aspect of the mass filmmaking or the mainstream filmmaking, could be used to extend this concept of cinema as a cultural phenomena rather than an intellectual discourse?
Yeah, I think I would like to carefully respond to your question. First of all, I had not realized that there are so many people here who have suffered at my hands as a professor, whom I am likely to find asking extremely penetrating questions. But see, I feel filmmakers' intentions of what a film should do and film's actual impact are extremely different. It is not that Gurudutt made Kagaz Ke Phool in order to be a flop. He invested so much money, but he wanted it to be a successful film. And no filmmaker, makes films in order to be unsuccessful in whatever he is doing. So in that sense, it is your own temperament, what you have, what are your strong points, like Ghatak and Gurudutt. For them, both of them, Ghatak was a disciple of Ustad Alauddin Khan, who was the guru of Ali Akbar, Ravi Shankar, so many great musicians. He was really the founder of the Meher Gharana. So these people who came to films through that branch had so much of music in their blood. So melodrama came to them so easily. And though Mani is himself a musician and Kumar has made a film on Khayal, and they worked at a different time with different backgrounds, and so different choices came. So I don't think that Mani Kaul made films so that they would not be seen. In fact, I'll just tell you a very short anecdote or true story of what Mr. Mangesh Desai, the great sound re-recordist of Rajkamal Studio, and I think for at least about 30 or 40 years, right up to Sholay or so, there was no other name on an important film re-recording Mangesh Desai. So he was mixing Mera Naam Joker of Raj Kapoor, which Raj Kapoor just loved. And at that time, they were using optical sound. And for dubbing, he wanted the dub track of the 6 characters dubbed to different densities. And the difference was so slight, but Raj Kapoor went through the expenses of getting 6 different tracks with different densities printed. So Mangesh said to Raj Kapoor, Raji, वहाँ तो बच्चे रोते होंगे, वहाँ तो ये होता होगा थिएटर में, ये गैमा में 0.1 डिफरेंस किसको पता चलेगा? So I'm quoting Raj Kapoor and not Mani Kaul. Raj Kapoor said to Mangesh that मैं फिल्में बनाता हूँ, वो पब्लिक के लिए थोड़ी बनाता हूँ, मैं तो अपनी खुशी के लिए बनाता हूँ. जब तक मुझे वो आवाज सुनाई देती है कि गलत है, इसका ग्रेन सही नहीं निकल आया, मैं नहीं बर्दाश्त कर सकता हूँ. एंड लेटर एट लोकार्नो, again Raj Kapoor, Ram Teri Ganga Maili had become a super hit. And he proposed, the Locarno festival was in his honor. And he proposed, asked Raj Kapoor to propose a toast. So somebody said, it's a very well-known journalist, who said, toast to Ram Teri Ganga Maili. So Raj Kapoor put his glass down and he said, क्या आपने कहा, छी 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 छी, ऐसे मौके पे ऐसी फिल्म का नाम नहीं लेते. नाम लीजिए तो जागते रहो का लीजिए, आवारा का लीजिए, राम तेरी गंगा मैली, क्या नाम लिया आपने. This is a successful, the most successful director and showman of Hindi cinema speaking. And then they asked him, do your children and grandchildren see your films? So Raj Kapoor said, I couldn't care more and they couldn't care less. So all that I'm saying is that if you love cinema, then it's a way of life. It's a total commitment to that. It is not that you're committed to ideology or something, like Alexander Astuk had said, that no, there are no great themes. It is the filmmaker who makes the film theme great. And bad filmmaker makes a film on great theme and it's a terrible film, and actually the theme loses its dignity. Like Picasso had said, a great painter can just put a yellow blob and it will become the sun. And another painter can paint the sun and it will just remain a blob of yellow. So I think that's the difference, that there was something, today many films are made in a corporate way and they are made very cynically. I think even people in the Hollywood like David O. Selznick or Sam Spiegel, they had a passion, If David O. Selznick said that I made Gone with the Wind, somebody merely directed it. But Selznick had spent that kind of money. He had, after all, he had to answer the people in New York who were putting the money in the film. So these people did love, and they did manipulate even the people who were financing them to make the kinds of films that please them. So I don't think, that whole distinction between art cinema and... See, there are many people who are considered art filmmakers. They don't even know ABC of filmmaking. तो क्या है आर्ट सिनेमा, क्या है कि इसका मतलब ऐसा नहीं कि आप फिल्म सिनेमा ही नहीं जानते. तो just making a boring film, like in fact when Nargis said to Mani Kaul that Uski Roti is such a boring film that I'll never forget that experience in all my life. So Mani said, thank you, because I seem to have made the most memorable film for you that you'll never forget.
Sir, last words from Mr. Babu for the closing words.
Our friends, it was a great occasion, and this book has come into Kannada because Girish took major decision on this, and he only suggested to us one day when we were sitting, this book should be brought to Kannada. And we have brought, and Academy has got a lot of plans, and now we are moving to a new place where government has constructed about 2.5 acres plot they have given us. There we will have a great library, and we will be storing more than 1,000 books there and about 2,000 all world classic films and a small preview theater. Even a small home theater also we are constructing there. Whomsoever the director wants to see the film, he can come and pick up the film and see there. So like that, we want to make many books to Kannada film culture books. So I request everybody come forward. Whatever good books are there, we will definitely offer, and we will take care of publishing the book in Kannada. And also, Arun Khopkar, I will also request you, please send a list of books what you have read so that we can still more conduct it and return into Kannada. I'll request you, and I hope you will accept my offer to you.
This plan is splendid. If you are starting a writer's residency, you have my application. I'll just write it.
Definitely, it's a welcome and it's a great honor to Academy, sir.
I'll certainly, but I must say that this 200 price is something that I had not expected, that it can be made available at such a small price. It's really a wonderful thing.
No, it's the government of Karnataka, they have kept some money for in the budget, so that whatever it is all subsidized, and we are doing it, and still we want to do it. Even myself and Girish, many times we have discussed on direction, photography, editing, because always the stars book is published. The technical things are not there in our thing for youngsters. So that's why we are also planning in that way only. So please suggest good books, and definitely we will put it in Kannada literature. Huh? Thank you, sir. Thank you, everybody.
Mr. Dinesh, Pai, Academy wants to facilitate you. Mr. Dinesh wants to present a bouquet to you. Bani, please come.
ಒಂದು ವಿಷಯ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಶೇರ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ನಮ್ಮ ಅಧ್ಯಕ್ಷರು ಈಗಾಗಲೇ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ನಾವು ಪುಸ್ತಕ ಪ್ರಕಟಣೆಗೆ ಮುಕ್ತ ಅವಕಾಶ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಧ್ಯಕ್ಷರು. ಅಂದರೆ ಯಾರಾದರೂ ಬಂದು ಸಲಹೆ ಕೊಟ್ಟರೆ ಆ ಪುಸ್ತಕನ ನಾವು ಪ್ರಕಟ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಗಿರೀಶ್ ಕಾಸರವಳ್ಳಿಯವರು ಇದನ್ನು ನಮಗೆ ಆಗ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಟ್ರು. ಅವ್ರು ಹೇಳಿದರು ಯಾವ್ಯಾವ ಪುಸ್ತಕಗಳು ಯಾವ್ಯಾವ ಭಾಷೆನಲ್ಲಾರಿದೆ ಅದನ್ನು ಕನ್ನಡಕ್ಕೆ ತರಬೇಕು ಅಂತ. ಅದರ ಮೊದಲ ಪ್ರಯತ್ನ ಗುರುದತ್. ಕಾಸರವಳ್ಳಿಯವರಿಗೆ ಅತ್ಯಂತ ನಾನು ಆಭಾರಿಯಾಗಿದ್ದೇನೆ. ಈ ಪುಸ್ತಕನ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ರೀತಿಯ ಪ್ರೋತ್ಸಾಹವನ್ನು ಕೊಟ್ಟವರು ಅವರು. ಸೊ ಈ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮಕ್ಕೆ ಬಂದು ಈ ವೇದಿಕೆ ಮೇಲಿರೋ ಎಲ್ಲ ಗಣ್ಯರಿಗೆ ನಾನು ಅಕಾಡೆಮಿಯ ಪರವಾಗಿ ಕೃತಜ್ಞತೆಗಳನ್ನು ಅರ್ಪಿಸೋದಕ್ಕೆ ನಮಿಸೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಇಚ್ಛಿಸ್ತೇನೆ. ಎಲ್ರಿಗೂ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ.
दोन्ही पुस्तकं वाचल्यानंतर मला असं वाटलं की किती वाईट मराठी बोलतो. इतकं सुंदर सहज ओघवती भाषा आहे. म्हणजे त्या ही दोन्ही पुस्तकं वाचली असं वाटलं की आपण एक इंजेक्शन घेतलं एन्सायक्लोपीडिया सगळ्या फिल्म्सच्या आणि ह्याच्याबद्दल. आणि आता मी माफी मागते एका गोष्टीची. मी मानसी मुळेवंदर. श्रीकांतनी तुम्हाला स्मिता पाटीलवरचं एक आर्टिकल सांगितलं होतं, श्रीकांत बोसेवरनी. हा ते माझ्यासाठी. आम्ही त्या फिल्म फेस्टिवल केलं, स्मरणिका काढली आणि आमचं पहिलंच बाळ ते. त्याच्यामुळे त्याचे फंड्स कमी पडले. फक्त 6च कॉपी निघाल्या. त्यातली एक कॉपी अनिताकडे आहे. पण आमच्याकडे प्रयत्न आहे आमचा की परत, कारण ते इतकं सुंदर झालं आहे, तर त्याची कॉपी निघाल्यावर मी
Small notice to media professionals. There'll be a press conference here just after this.
Okay, I will. Yes, thank you. Hello. Thank you so much. Yeah, lovely meeting you. Come, yeah. How does it happen? There was no scope to make it. Just kill them. They can watch them Netflix. Huh? Netflix. No, that I don't know. Their demand was theater, not in Netflix. Big screen. Big screen.
wish you all the very best. Hello. Hey, Premendra. Prashant from Sikkim. You have any card or any contact? I moved to Canada and I live there now. He doesn't have.